Morning friends, hope you are all amazing. Welcome to Thursday. It is another Thursday that's rolled around. It's absolutely crazy, the 27th of September 2018. Now, I don't know when you start doing your planning for the upcoming year, but I've actually left our run a little bit late this year. Normally, what I would start to do is in August, I start looking at the 2019 calendar and working out what the big placeholders are. So one of the big things that a lot of people do is that they'll be like, like the new year is so far away, and I'll be a little bit more, I like to work a bit more intuitively or see what happens, and you know what, that is fine, and you do what you need to do. My advice though is that you start planning next year, so 2019, as soon as humanly possible. So one of the things that I'd be looking at, and I've been chatting with clients about this and getting my team ready and things like that with what we're looking at. So first and foremost, have a look at what the big kind of like rocks are that have to go in your calendar. I'll show you what I use. So I use this little number. I used to get really big ones, and these days I just go to the office store and buy one like this. So it's a calendar by Sasco. It's all rolled up, which is really annoying. So it's really, like this is for next year. It's nice and big, and I actually pin it up on my wall. So I'll show you what this year's looks like. For you. Hey Kelly, good morning. All right, so up here you can see I've got all my little notes from my daughter on here. Isn't that really cute? So what I start off with is putting in any big block dates that need to go in. I put in any holidays that need to go in. I am supposed to put in when my husband goes away to Hong Kong, because I always forget, which should have gone in at the start of September because this year I accidentally booked a trip away while he was away. Oops. So get those really big, kind of like big chunky placeholders in there. I put Spy School in there as well to make sure that I had those dates set. Something else that I do, because I screwed it up, hashtag learning, a few years ago, I make sure that I put birthdays in my calendar. So the important birthdays, like my family, my niece, my nephew, my nieces and my nephews, their birthdays go in there, because I don't want to, like, I often run workshops or 2-day events, and I've been stung in the past where I've gone and scheduled in things that clash with that, and I felt really terrible and like the worst person on earth. So I make sure I've got those placeholders in there. They're really super important dates. So once you've got that down, you've got those big chunks of time blocked out. Awesome, great. What do you need to look at doing now? Well, I would take a look at, we talked about this a little bit yesterday around mapping out your content. So what this enables you to do is essentially create your marketing calendar or your marketing plan for what it is that you have in place next year. So for example, this is a much neater version of what I shared with you guys yesterday. I took some time to actually draw before before I came on. Chris, hello, good morning. Happy Thursday, nice to see your face. So we've got our overarching message for 2019, right? And then we've got your quarter focus. So if this was me, I know that I want to be doing another, either maybe a Spy School event or something that ties in with my book next year. So I'm probably going to do something like that in the second quarter. So just to give you a little bit of an idea, I'll call it Spy School now, but it's not going to be Spy School. So let's have Spy School up in the top there. Hey Nadia, happy Thursday. So Spy School's in here. Now, what this enables me to do when I'm working back and looking at my content calendar or marketing calendar or whatever it is that I'm looking at, I know that if I'm going to be doing that here, then I've got to be promoting it in here, right? So then we can start to look at, all right, well, what is the focus point in here that I need to roll into. Now, let me just see if I can fix this Wi-Fi because that's really annoying. Thank you if you're still with me whilst we are persisting with stupid ass Wi-Fi and its inability to seem to work on a consistent basis. So when you're planning out this, so if you know that you've got a workshop in Q2, then you know that you've got to be marketing that and promoting that for probably at least a good 4 weeks. Sorry, that's not true. A whole quarter, 3 or 4 months is what I meant to say. Probably a good 3 or 4 months in advance in order to get people into your workshop if that's what you want to do. So having these placeholders in here enables you to book dates. It enables you to have a look at what you're going to do in terms of marketing, in terms of content, in terms of blog creation, promotions, and things like that. The other thing that it really gives you the ability to do is to have a look at how much time you've got available for whatever else it is that comes up. So we talked yesterday about these, having all of these really amazing ideas and being able to implement a whole bunch of things and, those lovely shiny things. So what this enables you to do is to go, all right, well, do I have time, capacity, inclination, and space to put those things into what you're doing? So, for example, I've written a book. That will be the cover of my book, and I am so freaking excited. It's just not even funny. So, if we were this time last year, which is when I started doing the planning around this, I know that needs to be completed in Q3, right? So I would have in here completed book. So when I'm then reverse engineering my planning, hey Danny, I'm great, nice to see you this morning. So when I'm doing my planning, I can go, all right, well, what do I need to do this quarter? What do I need to do in Q2? What do I need to do in Q3 in order for that to come off? So I want to write, I don't want to, let me rephrase that. I am going to write another book next year. And essentially what I need to look at doing is, I didn't realize how much freaking time it takes to write these little bastards of awesomeness. It's such an interesting process, right? And then you've got the whole editing process, and then you've got the graphic design process, and then you've got the copy edit, and then you've got the proofreading, and then you go, oh my gosh, like it's just, it's incessant, this stuff, which is great because it's really good, but it just takes a lot more time than what I had initially anticipated, even though my book coach told me how long it was going to take. I just didn't believe her. Let's just call a spade a spade. I didn't believe her when she told me how long. I was like, I'll knock that shit over. Not so much. So when you've got your placeholders in, you can then start to have a look at some of the projects that you want to start doing, and look at the projects that really matter to you, and really then deciding, all right, well, am I willing to invest the time? And then if you are willing to invest the time, then you've got to get it in. So the other thing that I find really important to know, and something that I really love with the mentors that I work with, is that I get the dates for when we need to be in person. I have those well in advance so that they go into this little puppy, so that I don't then book in other things around it and stuff like that. So if you're working with somebody else, another mentor or a coach or a trainer, or you might be part of a mastermind group or whatever, get the dates of the meetings that you've got. Ask them if they don't have those set as far in advance as you'd like. Maybe just ask them so that you can get them in here, and then you can start to just kind of be a little bit more structured. Now, the reason that I like this is I have 3 children. I am married, and my whole world doesn't, although people would probably argue against this, my whole world doesn't just revolve around me, right? I like to think that it does, but the reality of it is that there are other people in my world who have to be factored in to all of my decisions and my travel and everything else that it is that I'm doing. So when you've got that planning in advance and you've got those conversations going around you, whether it's with your families, your husband, your wife, your mentors, your peers, your clients, it enables you to get a really good solid run into the start of the new year. Now, the problem that I've seen happen time and time again is that people will often not even think about this process until the middle of January, maybe even February, right? A lot of my clients have got children and they deal with school holidays and things like that, or they might like to take January off. You know, that's ace, and more power to you. I don't tend to work very much in January either. But the problem, if you're not starting your planning until January, that's a third of the first quarter gone before you know it, right? So we've also got this thing that is the momentum curve. I need another piece of paper. So I'll try and draw this so that you can see it. So we've got the momentum curve. So we've got time going over down here. So time, days, weeks, months, years, whatever. And then we've got the volume of momentum, right? So it can really take a lot of work. It's a little bit like a steam train working or a plane trying to take off. There's a lot of energy and a lot of fuel that has to go in before you even have liftoff. It doesn't just go straight like this. With the sound effects. It doesn't just go like that, right? It takes time to fuel it all in, and let's see if I can work out. It's really hard doing that back to front. Thank you, Danny. So where I'm going with all of this is that if you leave this till January to start plotting and planning, you've essentially lost a third of the first quarter. So if we look back at our little thing in here, you're already partway through here and you're trying to start to plan. You end up being super reactive. You end up a little bit behind the eight ball. It means that you're not actually going to be able to build momentum as fast because we've been sleeping. Or sitting by the pool if you're in Australia, or sitting by the fire if you're in a country where it's winter in January. So if you really want to get a really solid head start into 2019, you have got to be doing your planning now. So the things that you need to have in there, just to summarize and make sure you've got it. You've got to make sure that you have, go and buy one of these little things. They're like 10 bucks or $11 from, I think I got this one from Officeworks. This one's a Sasco planner. I imagine that they'll have something like it in Office Max in the States. So go and get one of those. Then the things that you need to put in there are your holidays, all right? They go in there first. If you're going on any retreats or if you want to run retreats, put them in here. Put the birthdays that are important or other days that are important to you that you don't want to accidentally schedule a workshop around, like I did, because you may also need to draw upon other people and you need to give your team, if you've got team, you need to be able to give your team some guidance and some structure so that they can help you, okay? So get those in there. If you've got 2-day events or mentoring workshops or anything like that, right? You've got to make sure that you get those in there as well. Then what you can do is start reverse engineering it and having a look at what content and what marketing, what promotional work, what positioning pieces do you need to do, what big projects you've got, so that you can then start to structure your, essentially structure your year so that you've got the best chance of, number one, success, but also you've got that strong, solid structure so that you can focus. So that's my little sermon for today. I hope that has helped you. I trust that that's helped you. Hey Sandra, nice to see you. Kelly, what did you say in there? Oh my gosh, it's really hard to even read these comments. Why is it doing that? Oh my Lord, I'll have to have a look at it later because it's just not freaking working and I don't know why. What else we got? Hey Rebecca, lovely to see you. Thank you Judith. Thanks for your congratulations. It's been a labor of, I was going to say love, but it hasn't really been a labor of love, this book. It started off, it's just a labor. It's a little bit like giving birth, I suppose. It's really shit while you're doing it, and then you've got this amazing thing at the end. That's my theory on that anyway. All right, guys, have a really great day. Tomorrow is Friday, surprise, because it's Thursday today. It's Celebration Friday, so come armed. I'd really love to hear what you're celebrating, what has been really great in your world. If it's something to do with business, then share it. Share your pages on here. If it's something to do with personal that you're happy to share, share it. I'd really love to celebrate with you over coffee via here, obviously. I'll let you know what I'm celebrating, what's working really well in our world, and we'll go from there, guys. Have a beautiful day, and I will catch you tomorrow. See ya.